Hey y'all. So I am doing an actual gamer series because if you knew anything about how much drama is in actual online gaming, you would be amazed. I have been an online gamer for years, so I've had a lot of crazy stories. The online gaming drama that broke an entire server after we uncovered a long-term lie about a dead wife. So, I've been a long MMORPG and FPS gamer, and I've seen my share of drama. As a matter of fact, I've been included in my share of drama. And when I say drama, I mean drama. Just to give you a sense of the level that we're talking about, things that I've personally witnessed, like a wheelchair-bound woman who claimed she was mugged, essayed, beaten, attempted to take her own life, was supposedly found by a stranger in an alley, taken to a hospital in a country that she was not from, put in a medically induced coma, given a heart transplant the very next day, and then released back onto the streets within 48 hours. It actually got deeper, messier, and somehow even more unbelievable. If anybody wants to hear that one, just let me know in the comments. All that said, this story still lives rent-free in my head because I just recently found out more information than what I actually experienced years ago. So, this is my story, but at the very end, I will be adding in an update of new information I found that just makes this more what the fuck. Apparently, all forms of human dysfunction come included with multiplayer games. This took place in a zombie-style war MMO. Massive server, huge alliances, state councils, politics, egos, the whole nine yards, okay? I'd been playing for a long time and I had built a very large account. State politics were always an issue. I was the largest account on that server, and because of that, there was a constant mix of ass kissing, rumor mongering, fear tactics swirling around me. I inevitably ended up on the state council because people wanted my backing due to my size. With that kind of position comes proximity. You spend an uncomfortable amount of time with certain people, and you start seeing sides of them you wouldn't even believe exist in the real world. The state was unhinged. While I was there, I started noticing one particular situation that just felt really off. I'd gotten close with one of the members of the state who happened to be also part of the council. We'll call her Spaz. And there was a guy in state that was the R5 of another alliance. We will call him Pocket Knife. So Pocket Knife was the R5 in the Pet Alliance, who had been in an online relationship for about 9 months with Spaz, the R5 of the Cry Alliance. Alliance relationships weren't unusual. The problem was that both Pocket Knife and Spaz were R5s. They were both part of NAP, both part of the state council, and when their personal drama surfaced, it didn't stay personal. It instantly became a political issue for every other top alliance to have to deal with on the server, okay? To most of the state, Pocket Knife presented himself as a single dad. What almost no one knew was that he told a very different story privately to Spaz. Specifically to her, he claimed that his most recent wife had passed and that he was a widower with multiple children. He gave her a full, tragic backstory. She believed she was getting involved with a widower. That narrative was never broadly shared with the server. It was custom built just for her. Meanwhile, Pocket Knife flirted with pretty much anything that could wear a skirt in real life. The man was a dog. To be fair, so did Spaz. Let's just say she had more fish on her hook than he ever got on his. But once I actually got to know Spaz, the details that she was sharing didn't line up with what Pocket Knife had represented publicly. Like her telling me, oh, his wife is dead. I ended up mentioning it to another in-game friend who ended up becoming my best friend in real life. Love you. But when I mentioned it to her, she immediately stopped me and said, "What do you mean his wife is dead?" I said, "Spaz said his wife is dead. He's a widower." And she said, "No, he's not. 3 months ago, I just sent a package of autographed items to his home for his teenage daughter. I have their address. His wife is very much alive." I said, "Wait, what?" Of course, pour the tea, please. So here comes PI Rogue, because I'm going to figure it out. I don't want to see a woman being taken advantage of. And the story she had given me, she was looking at considering moving to the States to be with him. Yeah, I did some investigating. Bestie did some investigating. We put our information together, and oh boy, did we find out some very different information than what she was sharing. Okay. So we started digging. Not doxing, not harassing, just confirming facts. Because at this point, their drama was bleeding directly into nap stability and council politics. When they fought, the entire server felt it. Long story short, the wife was alive and kicking. Still married to him, still living with him. Everything was a lie. I went to Spaz and I told her what we found. She didn't believe me at first. Pocket Knife had spent months reinforcing a fabricated life narrative specifically for Spaz. Eventually, though, more evidence came up. The worst part? Spaz had already flown to the States, stayed in his town in a hotel for a week, and yes, guess who came to visit and check his dipstick, see if it needed a fill, and to go back home to the wife like nothing had happened. When the truth finally came out, it didn't just end a relationship, it shattered an entire state. Pet fractured, Cry splintered. Other top alliances were forced to pick sides despite now. Council collapsed, leadership imploded, and the server never fully recovered. I still can't wrap my head around how a targeted lie, a fabricated death, and an online affair managed to implode hundreds of players' experiences in a game. That was the moment I realized just how real and destructive online gaming communities can be. I just recently found out even more disturbing information, and somehow it made the entire situation worse. Yeah, worse. You remember Spaz, the one who presented herself as a deeply wounded, fragile soul who needed protection from everyone and everything. That persona? Apparently another layer of catfishing. What I learned later is that Spaz did, in fact, know that Pocket Knife's wife was not dead. Yeah, she a homewrecker. She didn't give a shit. She a hoe. Widower's story wasn't a shared delusion. It was something she allowed to continue when it benefited her. On top of that, she wasn't involved with just Pocket Knife. Oh, no. On top of that, you had at the same time, she was carrying on 4 or 5 others were in-game, in-state, long-distance relationships. Some of them, again, on council, each a different player, and each one was convinced they were the only one she was talking to. When any of them started questioning inconsistencies or getting suspicious, she would fake attempt to pull them back into line. Every single time. Pure emotional manipulation. Crisis is a control mechanism, right? To this day, I genuinely do not understand how Kixer, Tav, Twin, or Sea Monkey never saw the writing on the wall. Maybe the constant emergencies kept them too busy trying to save her to see the pattern. Looking back, it reframes the entire server collapse in a way that's even darker. Oh, wait, we forgot about, what was that one's name? Cuckoo Jr. Yeah, I forgot about Cuckoo Jr., who not only had multiple kids and was married, but again, that wasn't off limits to Spaz. This wasn't just one man lying to one woman or one bad relationship spilling into politics. It was multiple overlapping deceptions, weaponized vulnerabilities, and emotional hostage taking, all happening inside leadership roles under NAP on council. It explains why the fallout was so violent, so decisive, and so impossible to contain. Online games don't create monsters. Online games give them systems, audiences, leverage. That's it.